My camera's on, obviously your camera's on, that's fine. You're arrested on suspicion of contempt of court on the 8th of the 5th, 2017 at Canterbury Court.
I first found out about a case where four Muslim men who run a takeaway in Margate, a young English girl, a young child, who was 2.5 times the drink drive limit, very drunk. She went into their shop and their business and asked for directions. They took her to a flat upstairs and all of them gang raped her. And I can say that now openly because they've just all been convicted of all charges of rape. One of the men, who has not been allowed to be named for legal reasons, that was because he said he was 15, from Afghanistan. You know, one of these child refugees. It's been proven now that he's an adult. He hasn't grown since he come here 2 years ago. So he wasn't 15. He's probably 18, 19, 20. He's now been convicted of raping a 16-year-old child. A 16-year-old young English girl. Now, the reason why I came to this court was because I found out what these men had done. I went and saw local people. I found out that there's been previous accusations against this business and this premises. These men were arrested in September. Since September, 3 of them have been on bail. They've been on bail. The judge gave them bail. These are facts. I'm not going to even give you my opinion because I'm afraid and worried if I give you my opinion, I'll be raided again and I'll be put in prison. So I'll explain to you what happened. The judge gave them bail. These men have been on bail. They've been running the same takeaway. They've been running the same business. The first day I found out, I went down to the business. I spoke to neighbours, I spoke to other premises near there and asked if any young English girls had been in that shop. One of them said yes, a group of young English girls were in there the day before. Now, that's a failure to me. That's a failure to protect. Now we know they were gang rapists. That's a failure to protect British women. British girls, your daughters, our sisters, are not being protected. How are these men walking the streets for 9 months nearly? How are they walking the streets? So my idea was to come here to this court, was to get video footage of who these men were and to make a video for you, the people at home, to know who they are, to know what their business is and to know that they're a danger to us. I came here to get a photo. When I came here, the police said, the judge said, for their own safety, for the defendant's own safety, you know, the rapists, the Muslim rapists, for their safety, they were taken out of a fire exit. I was not allowed to get any photograph of them, for their safety. Shouldn't we be worrying about the safety of English girls while these men are walking around our streets? Oblivious. Families are oblivious to what they've done. So then, the next step, which you'll see the video of, 4 o'clock in the morning, my house was dawn raided. I was dragged out of my house in front of my wife and children. I was taken automatically to this court on a charge of contempt of court because I tried to photograph and get video footage of the rapists. These charges, thanks to everyone back home again, thank you, because you raised, my court costs were £20,000 to get a top QC. I was then given in court by the judge a 3-month suspended prison sentence for 18 months. That means if I have any cross with the law over the next 18 months, which is quite likely when you read my history of what they've done to me, then I'm automatically spending 3 months in prison. So if I end up spending 3 months in prison, at least you know the backstory of what I'm in there for. I'm in there for trying to get footage, trying to warn the public, trying to warn the girls and people's daughters in Margate of what these men had done, what their alleged crime was, and the fact that they were walking the streets with you. And that's the crime. So, and if I hadn't had that £20,000 from the donations, and I hadn't had a top QC, I'd now be sitting in prison for this. I would now be sitting in custody. How insane is that? How insane is that for a charge of contempt of court? So when we look at what's happening, especially in this recent week of Manchester, our security services or our government are failing us. They're failing to protect us. Our daughters are being killed in the streets now, killed with bombs. And incidences like this, when you look at people who are remanded, I'll give you another quick case. There was a case of a Polish gentleman who was drunk on the way home and he threw bacon near a mosque. He was remanded automatically, the judge said, for his own safety. She remanded him straight to prison. No bail like these rapists. No running a chicken shop like these rapists. Put straight in prison for their own safety. Guess what happened to him in prison? You know, the Muslim-dominated prisons we have. They were violently beaten and battered. So they're remanded for their own safety, violently beaten up for putting bacon near a mosque. When they get before the judge 6 weeks later, he gives them an extra sentence. They were sentenced to more prison time. I'm just pointing, all this is about for me, is pointing out the failures. The failures that if men are accused and there's DNA evidence, which there was, yeah, one of these men went on the run straight away, the Afghan asylum seeker went straight over to Italy. If there's DNA evidence, which there was, why are they walking the streets? That was my problem. Why are they walking the streets, a threat and a risk to our daughters and our wives? Why is that happening? Why is that happening? I was remanded for a passport. I got 10 months in prison for having false identity. I was remanded for it. I wasn't walking the streets, I was remanded. What threat could I have been in comparison to what these men have done? But now they're convicted. Now they're awaiting sentence. We'll see what sentence they get. But again, the reason why I was highlighting this case is because right now there's 29 men walking the streets on bail for gang raping, or the alleged gang raping of, I think, 48 kids or 58 kids, and 120 kids actually it was, the Huddersfield one. I'm getting confused because there's so many cases. 120 young children allegedly gang raped by these men. 2 of them are working in a chicken shop, still in contact with young girls. That's why I done this. That's why I come down here to highlight it. My crime was to come down here and try and warn people, and I nearly got custody and in prison. I'm now walking a tightrope. I'm walking a tightrope for any brush I have with the law. I'll end up serving 3 months, but I just want to get this off my chest. So if you hear I'm in prison at some point, you know why it was. You know what I was attempting to do, and you know what the law done for me for doing that. So now you know why I was dragged from my bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. Now you know why I was dragged through these courts, looking at prison. Now you know why I'm walking a tightrope on a prison sentence. I don't care what these people behind me, I don't care what they think. You're the people that matter. The general public are the people that matter. You're the people that need to be warned of these offences and the people that are walking around our streets. Make your own mind up. If you want to see all the details of what happened in my court case, Caelan Robertson's going to make a video now detailing everything. You'll be shocked by some of the comments the judge made. If you want to see that video, keep following Rebel Media, and that'll be uploaded soon. Thank you.